Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Dupardology. I am Reggie Dupard.
And I'm LaShonda Dupard.
And we are the host of Dupardology, and we're excited about the part 2 of the situation.
Yes.
We had a lot of serious questions that came up. We didn't know, actually we knew it was a serious subject, but some of the questions, it really made us think, hey, we need to dig a little deeper in some things.
Well, because it was 30 minutes. We only did, it was a 30-minute segment. You can't tell a whole lifestyle or a whole life journey within those 30 minutes. But we did want to address those questions that some of the people had. So we want to start off, Reggie Dupard. We're going to get right into it. Do you want to get right into it? Or do you have something else you want to share before we get into the Q&A?
Well, just to say that I've had some calls, some friends that was going through the same situation. And you never know when you discuss, because everybody's not going to tell you their business, but we want to go out and share this because it's uncomfortable really for me, but I wanted others to learn and learn from my mistakes, because we did make some mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
And I think, and we'll get into this later on, but the truth, as we ended in our last segment, the truth will always set you free, and that's what we need to deal in, the truth.
That's right. So if you're just watching this segment now, make sure you go back and watch part 1 so that you can put it all together and why we're doing part 2. All right? So, all right, Reggie, deep breath in.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. The whole goal is to help our community members understand that we are all human, we make mistakes, and we can move on from it.
Right.
So here we go. Let me put my little readers on, y'all. Okay, these are my glasses. All right, number 1. Question number 1, Reggie Dupart. What age were you when you found out about the paternity situation with the pregnancy?
Well, I like that, and I'm gonna add two things to it because I have the second question that someone had asked. I was 19 years old when it all happened, when I was dealing with that, and in that, the question was also, someone asked me, well, why didn't you get the paternity test from the jump?
Right.
And that same person say, because they wouldn't have done what I did, right?
Right.
Wouldn't have done what we did, rather. And so the reason why I didn't get the paternity test was because the young lady took the baby to see my parents, my mother and my father, the kind of people they are. They fell in love with the little girl. They say the baby looked like you, even though my girlfriend that I was dating with at the time, she didn't think that the child looked like me, or it wasn't mine. But my thing is, I was an obedient child. I always listened to what my parents said. That's just how I was. And so my parents said it, and I wanted to please them, even though I was a man, 19 years old. I always valued my parents. I remember just the one time that I didn't do what my dad said do, it ended in tragedy. So I was really obedient.
When they saw the child, they said, Reggie, this is your baby.
They said it was that. And so that's why I did. And I think it was 2 parts. And the other part was by believing that it was my child and knowing that if I put myself on child support, if it was my child, that I was thinking that I was thinking financially, it might cost me less if I just volunteered to financially take care of the child without getting on child support.
So the reason why you did not, the second part of that question was the reason why you didn't do the paternity test immediately was because of your parents saying this is your child.
And my parents. Yes,
okay.
Yes. And I want to be very sensitive because, we don't name names. So if I don't address the child right, I'm really trying not to say a name. So because we want this not about the individuals, it's about the experience and making good decisions and helping someone.
Right. And to your parents' point about we make this an issue all the time when people go through this kind of paternity situation, is going by looks. You absolutely cannot go by looks. Reggie, I could put about 5 kids up against him right now, and they would look like you.
well, every time you meet someone, they say, I know someone look just like you.
Exactly.
And when you're in the community, you with the kids.
When I'm in the community with children, they are my children, but they're not my biological children. Mm-hmm. When we're out, people automatically think, those are your kids. And, I go with the flow because, first of all, it is what it is, but you don't want to make them feel uncomfortable. And at the same time, it just proves that people they don't pay attention, and you can look and blend in with anybody. Yes, so the looks, we need to stop doing that. That child looks like you. Now, there are some people that just come out and you're like, okay, that you cannot deny your child. However, in this situation, back it up with a DNA test. Okay.
Step one.
Mistake
for me. No DNA.
No
Let's
DNA.
just say that. I didn't do the
No, back it up. Number one was
Oh, I'm sorry. My promiscuous, making poor decisions
with the wrong people
in
and
my
not
life.
being married before you have sex. Or, we're old fashioned like that. However, we teach our kids to
Chalk
do the
that
right
one up.
thing. All right. So we chalked that one up. All right. That's it. Number 3. That was a 2-part question. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
One of your family members, one of your nieces, wrote in and said, wow, she had no idea because it wasn't talked about. Why didn't the family members know that she was not your child?
Well, I don't know why. I was in Dallas, so I didn't communicate with all my little nieces and nephews, whatever. Actually, I don't have any nephews, but I do have nephews. I didn't communicate with all of the people. So that was my parents and my sister. The main people involved on my side of the family was my parents and my sister Monique, who was really involved with the young lady for a long time. Even to this day, Monique has been involved with the young lady.
Not only involved, a fantastic aunt.
Right.
She has been an amazing aunt to this child emotionally.
Right.
So with that, that's the answer. That's the answer you're gonna give. Okay. All right.
That's it. I wasn't around, and I.
You didn't want to tell them, and you never made it known, though. That's the thing. You never told when you were around them.
But I never talked about it,
Yeah.
and it was interesting. I work out at the gym, and so probably about a year and a half ago, I saw the young lady, her stepdad, and this just shows you how a lie, because it was a lie, because when she said, everybody said the baby was mine, and even in spite of paternity tests, people were still believing that the child was mine because whatever. Someone even said that I had the paternity test fixed. I can't do that. I don't have enough money to do that, and wouldn't do anything like that. And so I saw her stepdad, and he said, Reggie, the little girl looks like
Your brother.
looks like Bolo. I say, Bolo? That child don't look like Bolo. It does. Well, I don't know what's going on, but it's not mine.
Well,
I had to
people
tell
will
him. And my point is, her dad didn't even know, her stepdad who lived with her all those years,
Didn't know
Did
that the
not
child,
know that
and
the child
your
was mine.
family. So nobody talked. So basically, the answer to that question is, y'all kept it a secret, right? It was a secret. It was a big secret because by then, everyone knew. Well, you knew. Everybody knew the paternity test when she was 6 years old.
Right.
The paternity test came out, but y'all never actually talked about it.
Yeah.
Which secrets hurt, and we'll talk more about that as well. All right, number 3. So y'all kept it a secret. You didn't want to talk about it. You just avoided it altogether. All right, so how did you ever have, question number 4, I think this is, did you ever have an emotional attachment to this child?
Initially, it was an attachment of, hey, it looks like you was doing the right thing. And I did have a relationship because she, would call me dad. So I did have one. But I think what happens is when I decided to do the right thing, and when you go back, and what happened was, as I was trying to do the right thing, you and I tried to do the right thing when we were married, and we were still doing things, paying for school and everything. The mother of the child decided to say, hey, if you don't change the name, well, I'm not going to let you see it anymore. And so see the young lady anymore, and so the child anymore. And so when that happened, I was like, I have a family. Why am I?
You have a new wife. You don't have a family at this point.
Sorry, I have a new wife. I have a new wife. Why am I investing my energy in trying to do something that I've done all I can do, and this is not going to work because of the mother.
Right.
The mother, and even before then, the mother. And I don't want this not to talk about her, but she really, really treated me bad. I mean, as far as the way she would talk to me when I called her, or even the way that she, the lies that she told.
Right.
And when I look back at it, I'm kind of like upset about it because her goal in dealing with me and going to one of the best attorneys in the city, because my attorneys told me she went to some of the best attorneys to get the name changed, and she wanted to get more money.
Right.
That was her whole
It was greed.
ambition.
It was greed because you were paying enough for her to take care of
my
the child.
family thing, my thing was the child. Her thing was
the
get
money.
The money. She
Right.
was about that paper.
Right. So when you were playing ball and your salary came out, she said, "Oh, you're not paying enough money."
Yeah.
So
And my sister even told me. She said that my sister and my mother told her,
leave it alone.
Just don't
leave it alone.
Don't go to the courts. Reggie is paying child support.
He's accepting the child.
He's accepting child. He's
leave it alone.
For private school. Leave it alone. No, but she didn't want to leave it alone. She continued to push the situation until my attorneys and I contested it. And then I found out, up until the day before the test, she called my mother. And she said, "I don't want to go through with this," because I'm thinking the reason why she didn't want to go through because she know the child wasn't mine.
Right.
And so the mother. So my mom said, "I can't do anything about it. It's too late." This was the day before we were to take the test.
Right.
She called crying and said, "Oh, don't do the test because it's gonna hurt her. She's gonna have to take blood. They're gonna hurt." And she was crying and all upset because it was up. The game was up, and she knew. What
because you can't unring that bell. Once you ring that bell and says, "I'm starting this paternity test and I need you to pay," and you protest it, and then you go in to petition, the state's not going to say, "Oh, I'm calling this off." No, we got to move forward. You can't call this off. We're in full motion. So,
let me just also say this, because sometimes when you deal with a child, it's all emotional about the child, what's best for the child. And sometimes you have to disconnect. Had I done what my attorneys did when the blood work came back and it said that I was not the father, zero probability that I was the child's father, my attorney said, cut all communications. We stopped the check. And then she called my mom.
The step to the mother.
Yeah, we stopped.
The check to the mother. Yeah.
The check out because I was paying her monthly, and we stopped the check. And my mom called me. "Well, Reggie, please put the money back in her account." And me, the good son, listening, obedient, whatever my mom says. I'm still a baby, and grown.
Because she's attached to the child.
Yeah.
All she sees is the child.
And the girl called her. "Look, my bills are bouncing, and you should have been saving your money. It shouldn't have a problem. It's a few dollars."
Well, it's still part of the game, though. Yeah.
And so I like the obedient child I was, I end up putting the money back, listen to my mom. But if I had to do it all over again, I'm shutting everything down.
You shutting it down
I'm not
because
dealing with it,
if you would have shut it down,
there's too many problems,
right.
And as a result, we still have stuff is still happening today.
Okay, Mr. Dupart. Mr. Dupart, he getting this is a good segue into the next question because your energy up over here is pretty. Let me put a disclaimer. The next question, the disclaimer is we have never mentioned any names.
Correct.
We have not just for the privacy of the family, and just again,
and it's not about the family, that particular girl, the young lady or her mother.
It's not about them.
It's
about the situation.
This is my story.
This is your story.
And I'm going to tell my story. And
the way that it
my
happened.
story can help others.
Help others. That's the goal.
Yes.
So because of all of this, because I don't know if y'all can feel his energy. I can feel his energy right here talking about it. Here's the next question. Have you forgiven yourself for allowing this to go on like that?
What does forgiving myself mean? I forgave myself and that person, or forgive myself for my mistake?
Well, I guess it would be two, because a lot of times you're hard on yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure why the person wrote this in, but
let me just put it this way. It's a situation that I'm still praying about because of the way everything went down. And then even with us doing this podcast, there's some questions came up to me about why I did what I did. And now when I say coming from other people, it's coming from the young lady.
Oh, yeah, the child. So the child wrote in,
yeah.
And I don't know if you all got to see that comment. She saw the podcast, and she wrote in and was very, very, very disturbed, which we expected. I mean, we knew it's a hurtful situation.
We expected to be disturbed, but we did not expect her
to attack.
To blame me, my sister, and you. Oh, no, she got after you.
I got the blame, too. Y'all, all I ever tried to do was do the right thing.
All my mother and father, well, she didn't blame my parents because they did. But my sister,
that was the biggest thing.
Did everything, still kept in touch, was in her life still.
She was the best. She still is the best.
And well, we'll talk about that later, about why.
But have you forgiven yourself? Answer that question.
I have. I think I have.
Okay.
But I'm still praying about the situation. Because,
what are you praying about? What do you forgiveness is forgiveness.
Well, Yeah, but maybe I haven't.
Total surrender.
I haven't probably.
Total surrender, Dupard.
I need to, because when I think about sometimes, my parents, I think they were played.
So it's personal for you.
And I need to let that go.
Yeah.
I need to let it go.
So you have to give, so you have to forgive yourself for allowing it to happen. And you were an obedient child. I mean, I have a very compliant child as well. Jonathan is the same exact way. And now, had that been reversed, if it's Bolo, I don't think Bolo.
That's my brother.
That's your brother, yeah. I don't think he would have done it. But because of the character that you have, you're one of the most humble people. You're one of the most caring people. I didn't even know you were going to turn out to be such a great husband that you turned out to be. You're so nurturing.
I'm a great father.
You're a great father first.
Okay.
No, you're a great husband first,
and
then you're definitely a great father. Yeah. And so, otherwise, I wouldn't have had no kids for you. Anyway,
and yeah, because I don't. This is the kind of person I am. If I tell a child I'm gonna do something, my children. If I tell Jonathan,
you gave them your word with their bond.
If I tell you I'm gonna discipline you, I'm gonna do it. Never. You talk to them, and that's the same way with the little girl. If I told her I was gonna do something, I did it.
Yeah, you did it.
I don't lie to children.
And to be honest with you guys, they did look alike. I mean, she looked a lot like him, but
early on. But look at them pictures now.
But if you put her against me, she could look like me too, actually. Okay. I mean, it's
let's go.
Anyway, so
don't go by looks.
That's the point. Do not go by looks. Go by the DNA, the Dana. The DNA.
Go to the question.
Okay. Let me see here and put my glass back on here. Hold on, Mr. Dupont. I'm talking about forgiveness, because we can't pass up the forgiveness now. We honor God and we trust God, and we gotta. That might be something you need to add to your prayer circle list.
God want us to love our neighbors, and I do need to pray. Continue to pray for them. Pray for me.
All right then. Okay, so the next question is, how did we as a married couple heal from this?
Well, I'm going to let you take that.
Okay.
We as a married
couple. I got the blame for it because, first of all, I know I was going to get the blame. I'm ready for it. That's just okay, because hurt people, what they say is, hurt people. But really, it's hurt people get therapy so they can stop hurting people and counseling. So you don't want to always walk around hurt, all right? As I said in episode 1, I'm a stepchild. My mom and father got a divorce, so I understood what it felt like to be in a split family and be loved as well. But the love of this child was she never really wanted it from the family. She wanted it from you.
Yeah. And let me just add this from your perspective, because you got the blame from somebody, and you was the main one that said, hey, let's put in our wedding. That was not my idea.
Right.
You were the main one that said, hey, let's get a room and make this her room, and you really, really showed love.
Right.
And
but she will never see that, though. She no matter, we can say that till Jesus comes back.
I want it to be clear that it was real.
Right.
It was real.
It was definitely real. But no matter what we do or say or plead, lay down on the street and get ran over by a car, I could give up my life.
Right. But
it will not be received. It will not be received. It will never be seen that way until that baby girl. Now she's 37, until she can get some help. Okay. So how we healed from it is, it was emotional at the time because we kept thinking, wow, her mother gave us an ultimatum, knowing that the child was not yours. If you don't change the name, then you can't see her anymore. Right. Well, that was the final straw right there. We're not going to be played like that.
And I think the other way we healed, people that give back. We started youth ministry.
Yes.
Even before we had children, we started working with other people's children, going places with them, teaching them about God, building relationships, doing things for young people, and just giving back and changing lives.
So we got distractions in our life. So we were in a church at the time.
The best thing you could do is help other people, and then God will bless you.
Right.
That's all you got to do.
So youth ministry
we did youth ministry for years.
Can I finally get?
Do. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You usually cut me off.
Okay. Well, I didn't cut you off this time.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
You're doing very well.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Maybe it's the glasses that help you.
There we go. See, here we go. See what I'm living with, y'all. Anyway, so we started doing church youth ministry when that happened. We started bringing, you know what, we haven't been empty nesters since our kids. When both our kids left, most people like, yay, we brought more kids into our lives. Okay, yes. We've always loved giving back. And what we did was we got involved. We started traveling with young people. We started, Reggie was always invited out to preach and speak at different churches for youth and encourage people. And it was just a blessing to be able to have that distraction. So if you ever want to do something to help with an issue, if you're having a major issue in your life, go help somebody else. Yeah. Volunteer. That distraction is so rewarding that it will not make you forget about the person, but it will help you to help somebody else.
That's right.
And that's what we did. So that's how we healed. We did a lot of praying because at that point we were emotional. She was almost 11 years old at that time. And at 11 years old, it was one of those things where we were thinking, I hope she's okay. We were always thinking, my God, I hope she's okay. She's not coming over anymore. She's not going to be around us anymore. But the bad thing about it was that she continued to see your family.
Yes.
And then that made a difference. So people, when you're in this situation, looking back on our mistake,
let's not just say our mistake. From the very, very beginning, it was my family mistake. Because what happened was, I decided once my wife and I got married, and the mother was challenging us about the name change. When I separated from the family, it just shared with
one of our nieces, our family member. She just graduated with her master's, Dominique.
And she's a counselor.
And she's a counselor. She's a social worker. And she dissected this entire situation.
She was all raised with her.
She was raised with her, absolutely. She grew up with her as cousins. And she said, looking back and knowing what she knows now in social work and in counseling, when Reggie disconnected, the whole family basically should have disconnected because it sounds cruel, right?
Right, because sometimes you do things in love and you think you're doing the right thing, but you have to separate yourself from the situation because what happened was if you continue to deal with it, well, it's a lie being told. That's not your child.
And then
That's
it becomes the fantasy in the child's mind.
Child's head, she's connected to the love that she's receiving because she ain't getting it from her mother. I know that.
Oh, Reggie.
It wasn't. I shouldn't have said that. No. But my family. I apologize.
Okay.
My family. My loving mother and father and nieces and sister would still have her come to when my mother died. My dad had her come down and
every summer,
and they gave her the love, and she asked her. She gave her the love, and she needed that, and she wanted that. But if we cut that off, then she's not. She able to find her real father.
Right. She would have found him sooner. She would have found her real father. Right? We would have forced their family to deal with this.
Thank you.
Quicker, sooner, instead of lingering on and thinking about the child. Sometimes when you do things that you think are right ends up being a complete disaster.
Right.
And that's what this caused.
That's what it caused. Because had I done it when my attorney said do, because my attorney was like, look, this is not your child. Don't see her anymore.
And here we are thinking, it's a child.
I violated. And sometimes you have to look at the legal side of things.
Right.
And in the long run, emotionally, it would have been better for her to move on. Because I think today, according to some of the things she said, she still has some issues with us. And and my family hadn't done anything but been good to her.
Whew. All right, y'all.
And I just might add, sometimes if you have a question, please leave us questions on this. And we're trying to be positive. And if you want to be negative, well, go just start your own little podcast.
Okay, so who is that directed to, Mr. Dupard?
Well, it's
the child. Okay, because and let's just keep it real. She did make some really, really disrespectful comments.
It's not disrespectful because this is what I say. She misunderstood because she said there's always 1, 2, 3, 4 sides of the story. I don't have any reason to come on here and lie. First of all, I got the blood work, the paperwork.
That's the only truth. It's not. That's the only side of the story. The blood work is the only side. Let's get that right. That is the side. It's not what Mama said, what Daddy said, and unfortunately, the last thing about this question, because we could talk forever about this.
Well, I just need to add this.
Okay.
The last time I saw the young lady, and how old is she? A couple of years ago.
I guess she was in her early 30s when you saw her.
And this is what she asked me. I'm just going to put
well,
this
first
out
of all, she asked you to meet with her.
She asked me to meet with her, and so I'm like, okay, what it was. I didn't know, wasn't sure what it was she wanted. So I gathered up the test.
She's in her 30s.
She's in her 30s, so we meet at a Chili's or something like that. And so we meet, and so she said, that's how she was doing, and she,
we're at Chili's.
We was at Chili's.
And she asked you.
She invited me to talk to her and asked me, could I be her father and like step in the place as a father? Because she said her biological one that she had met, he
passed away.
I don't know how he passed away, but he passed away. She met him. I don't know if she met him. She saw him on social media, and she asked me, could I be her father and step in that place? And I said, no. I said, I cannot do that. I say, I have 2 children. I'm not gonna live that life. And I didn't say the lie because I didn't want. You're
always trying to.
I didn't want to hurt her feelings.
But it's not about feelings. And see, that's where we go wrong too.
I didn't. I didn't want to be ugly.
But you still hurt her anyway. Again, she still didn't like it.
She was very emotional. And I really felt bad, but it was really nothing I could do because I'm not going to go back and just start something and live a lie.
Right. And you did the right thing. I
think so.
However, it still caused a fallout. So we had to move on from it. And at the end of all of this, we just want everyone, the feelings part, I grew from that because I realized not hurting people's feelings was never, hurting people's feelings was never the motive. That was never our motive.
Right.
But sometimes the truth hurts, guys. The truth hurts. And this is if there's no other textbook example of the truth hurts, that would be this situation, your situation that you're in. And so with that, we have to figure out a way how to move forward. So how do we move forward, Reggie Dupard? First of all, I'm going to need you to go back and get on your knees and ask for forgiveness for yourself, too. And then this young lady.
We're working on
you're going to have to. Do we need to go on a fast? Do we need to fast and pray?
No, that's how we do.
That's how we do.
Dealing with some things through fast and prayer.
All right.
But as far as the innocent person in this situation is still the child.
What? Wait a minute. What do you mean the innocent person?
Well, the person that
she's 37 years old.
Okay. Well, let me hold on. Wait a minute. Don't jump on me. The person that it affect the most.
Well, we know
in
that.
a negative way.
Yes, we know. She got caught in the middle.
Right.
Her mom told a lie and deceived. You went along with it.
And I think if she it was so weird about these things. Like when you look at those paternity courts and things like that, they always like blame the dad.
They always blame the dad.
Your mom is sitting right next to you. She done lied to you.
That is so true.
Y'all watch
this. That is so true.
She like escaped like
mom,
she was with me. So like she should have been with you. She lied to you.
See, that's why he needs some therapy.
Am I too loud on this podcast? I apologize.
We have to get you some therapy too, Dupart. Lord have mercy.
Your mom lied to me. She lied to my mama. She lied to my daddy. She lied to my sister. And she lied to herself because she somehow think that, that it was okay to
And I think that's what the biggest part is for you, is that your parents were deceived. Not so much you. You really, from outside looking in, you have a bigger issue with that whole family deceiving your parents, right, who were great people. They were people of honor, integrity, and full of love. In fact, I was closer to Reggie's dad than I was to my own biological father. He was, just a great man. So knowing that they got deceived, and there was nothing you could say to them to make them know any different. They just weren't having it. They didn't care about blood work. They were attached to that baby girl, and that was all it is to it. And that's okay.
Did not matter to them.
No, it did not. But when that scab starts to heal, because the wound comes first, healing.
And not only myself, my sister even told me the last words out of my dying mother's mouth was take care of the child. My daddy, last words, give her this, do this for her, take care of her.
Yes.
And so even to this day, she felt like, because we do what our parents
did what your parents did,
and she's still sort of fighting with that.
Yeah, and I get it.
And she needs to be.
So that's what I'm saying. It's just not the child. Everyone keeps saying the child is hurt. The child is 37, and everyone else is hurt too because of this deception and the lies. So people, if we cannot stress anymore,
right?
Don't live the lie in secret, because as long as that lie because the child has always known it was a lie, that he wasn't a parent. But as long as it was in secret, it was okay. Right. But the minute you wanted to share this, to tell people and let it and expose it to everyone, is when it now becomes a problem. So that secret is what really destroys, and it diminishes the whole love that everybody wanted to give her. Oh, it was just thrown out of the window. Just gone. So with that, can we talk about healing? What are those steps that we need to take to heal?
Well, maybe we should have went to Ruth
Bader Ginsburg. That's
went to the judge.
But anyway, it's the judge right here. Y'all love the notorious RGB. Okay.
Healing, the first thing, of course, we go to God, and that's the first thing you do. But always tell the truth, and no matter what the situation is, that's one of my first things that you got to do. Tell the truth and be honest. Right. Because it's fair to everyone.
And being responsible as well. The second thing, really, go to God, the counseling, therapy. I know in our community, African American community, and this is another reason why we created this podcast, because there are going to be some more episodes about mental health, but our mental health gets neglected so badly. When these kind of things cause trauma in our minds, we don't go get the help that we need to talk to somebody. Just like you're talking about, it has invoked a whole bunch of feelings that you had buried and started to bring up, but you have to deal with those feelings. I'm a life coach, okay? I'm not a therapist, I'm not a doctor, but as a life coach, I've talked to other people that go through these similar situations. And it's a process that you have to work through. And first of all, you got to accept the truth of what happened. All right? You got to accept the truth. Seek somebody that can help you, right?
Right, without a doubt.
Everyone.
Need help, you got to go to the right people.
Everyone. And then number 3 is don't blame everybody.
That's what I do all the time. First of all, when I'm dealing with something, I don't even in my marriage, I look at myself first. What could I have done different?
What could we have done different?
In that situation, what could Reggie Dupart have done different?
What could you have done differently?
Well, for one, not be promiscuous.
Okay.
But I was a young guy.
In college for the first time, away from home. In the flesh.
Listening to people, girls liking me and everything, not ready for that. And I had to learn. Just because they want to give it to you, you don't have to take it.
Oh my gosh, okay.
That's the
kid
truth.
Friendly, all right.
Yeah, because little girls are aggressive.
Girls are aggressive. Guys are aggressive too, but girls, the wrong girls are aggressive.
And when you're somebody, they want to be with you, so you don't need to do that. And I've learned.
Right.
I've learned that. So accept responsibility. I accept responsibility for my actions.
That's right.
And it cost me the pain that I'm
still dealing with today.
Okay, there you go.
All right. So we get that right. And then the blame part with this young lady is it's none. It's forgiveness all for mom and blaming you. It's you. And me too. Absolutely. I get to blame. However, I'm one of those kind of people where people can blame me for anything they want to blame me for, but I don't accept it, because if I know, I sleep good at night and I know I did my very best. I know there was no malice in my heart. There was no evil intent. I was willing to accept this child because she came with you. The whole situation came with you, and I accepted that. I knew what I was getting into. And furthermore, just being in that same situation, I knew how to handle it. I thought I did, but at the end of the day, we all can think we're doing a greater good when we're doing so much damage and so much harm by not dealing with the truth. Always remember that. Hurt people do hurt people because they don't get the therapy they need to not hurt people.
And if you need help, get your therapy. We just want to thank you for tuning in to the situation on Dupardology. It was a pleasure to come share, but it was some. I must be honest, some of it's kind of tough to open myself up like this, but leave questions. Subscribe to our page. Go to our YouTube page and subscribe.
Share it with your friends.
Share it with your friends, and just stay tuned for the next one, because we're always going to give you something that's going to be heartfelt and honest.
One more.
You gotta let loose, move your body smooth, shape butter, fruit juice. You gotta get down sometimes. I'm here for move yourself grind. You see your haters in the back, leave them on the wall wave. Nobody gonna rule.